Okay, we got 25 x to the fourth minus 20 x squared plus 3 is equal to 0. Now this is a U-substitution. If I get back there. What would tell me U-substitution if the instructions isn't indicated is if you can take the middle part excluding the number in front, so the middle part's x squared, take it to the second power and it gives you this first part excluding number in front. And it does. So our U-substitution says step 1, let the middle part be equal to u, the first part be equal to u squared. So that gives us 25u squared minus 20u plus 3 equals 0. And usually I can just factor these in my head. It's either too late or this is a little bit too harder than what I'm used to. Oh well, I'll do the steps. This is a key number. You take the number to beginning times the number to end, ignoring signs. Of course, maybe this doesn't factor. So we get 75, 1 times 75, 3 times 25, 3, 4, 5 times something, 1, 25, 15. There it is. Add them, and I get my 20. So I use 5 and 15. So I got 25u squared minus 15u minus 5u plus 3 equal to 0. And then I factor by grouping. These have a 5u in common, and that gives me 5u minus 3. These have nothing in common but first term's negative, so I factor out a negative, and that gives me 5u minus 3 equals 0. Goal is to get this parentheses same as this one, which they are. So I'll factor out a 5u minus 3, and that leaves us 5u minus 1 equals 0. Now, zero factor property. You get 0 on one side, you factor the other side, you set each factor equals 0. So I set 5u minus 3 equal to 0, and 5u minus 1 equal to 0. So that gives us 5u is equal to 3, divide both sides by 5, and you get u is equal to 3/5. This one, take the negative 1 over, becomes a positive 1, divide both sides by 5, and we get u is equal to positive 1/5. Step 3, plug u equals blank back in. So whatever we said u was equal to right up here is now what we're going to plug in. And then we're going to solve for x. So we got x squared equals 3/5, x squared is equal to 1/5. Now the square root property says if you got something squared equals something else, you drop your squared and you put a plus or minus square root around the other side. Now we can't have a fraction inside of a radical. So we'll break the square root up, put a square root of 3 over the square root of 5. One of our properties allows us to do that. Can't have a square root down below, so I'll multiply top and bottom by the square root of 5. And we get x is equal to plus or minus square root of 15 over 5. Now here I do the same thing. Square root property, drop my squared, put a plus or minus square root around the other side. We cannot have, oops, I'm going to go to bed, I'm getting tired. We cannot have a fraction inside of radicals, so split it up, put a square root around top, square root around the bottom. Square root of 1 is 1, and then we multiply the top and bottom by the square root of 5. And we get x is equal to plus or minus square root of 5, and square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. And those are our other two answers.